Let us know. So my name is Renzo Lara. I am the director here at the Latinx Resource Center. I also am a triple alum from the institution, and so today we're just going to go over some of the programs and the mission and objectives of the center, and also focusing towards the end on one of our signature events that we have, which is called Queerceañerax. And we'll talk more about that towards the end of the presentation, and then after that we have a Q&A. But I would like to also give it up to our other outstanding colleagues and staff from the Latinx Resource Center and let them introduce themselves. And I use he, him, pronouns. So I'll pass it over to Eric.
Thank you, Dr. Lara. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all. My name is Eric or Erika. I use any pronouns, and I'm the assistant director here at the Latinx Resource Center. I'm really excited to share a little bit about what we do, and specifically for the Queerceañerax. My team is predominantly responsible for putting on the event, and this year, we're going on, I believe, our sixth year of doing the Queerceañerax in different versions. The first one was virtual, so excited to talk to you a little bit more about that and answer any questions that you may have. And I'll pass it on to Dr. Villarreal.
Hi, hi everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Villarreal. I'm the Latinx faculty scholar here in the LRC. Some things I do, I teach General 100 in fall through Nuestra Casa. I'm also the director of a mentor program called the Pueblo Scholars program here, and I'm also the CCA here at San Diego State is too. So I have a caseload of 200 students that are for our lower division students that I communicate with to help them out navigating courses, resources, and any assistance I can help them out in preparing them for upper division courses.
There's so many years, I still cannot mute myself. I'm sorry. So the first thing I always say is that we're located at the Love Library. It's always it's a mystery at times trying to figure out where we're at because we're in the first floor of the Love Library. So if you're entering through the computer lab, you're gonna enter the second floor and then you just go down the stairs. If you're entering through the dome, you go down one flight of stairs and we're all the way in the back to the Chicano Studies area. So sometimes it's, like I said, it's a little mystery to get here. Sometimes you have to, go through different doors, but you'll start seeing our hummingbird, which is our symbol throughout the library, is going to guide you to our space. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our mission. And so our mission is really to support all our students. And while we focus on students from Latin American descent, our focus is really to serve all students who come through our doors. Our space is culturally affirming. We provide a space that students can show up authentically and share their fullness and their voices. Ultimately, it's a home away from home from people from our community, but anybody is welcome. And so we'll go into as to what programs we offer, what services, and what makes us unique in terms of our approach to the community. A quick note, though, that I wanted to share is that this space happened, the Latinx Resource Center, and as a matter of fact, a lot of our spaces that are on campus that are focusing on culture and community centers were occurred because of student voices. So in 2019, students got together and voiced their uh, their thoughts and also their feelings on having a space that supported and affirmed our Latinx students on campus. And lo and behold, in 2020, there was a plan to create a Latinx Resource Center. Unfortunately, COVID hit, but in 2020 is when we had our first year of service and operations. It was virtual. It wasn't until 2 years later, in 2022, that we had our grand opening, and now we reside in the library. So we've been in person for 4 years, but altogether we've been around since 2020, so 6 years. So I want to provide a little bit of context there in terms of who we are. So I'll turn it over to Eric, he's really good about explaining the community presence of anything. Fun fact, Eric is the most 10-year person in our space. He's been here since 2021. I started in 2022, so he's seen it all. So he can really tell you all about the history and all the developments of the center. But I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you, Dr. Lara. And I mean, you might be wondering, like, okay, like you probably do a lot of programs, but what is guiding you? So we actually, our founders had six principles to guide all of our programming and to be, in addition to like our mission that Dr. Lara stated. So the first one would be comunidad or community. So how are we fostering community? How are we bringing people together? I think the biggest lesson that we learned from when the founders created or had the idea of creating both the Latinx Resource Center and then now the Monarch Unity Resource Center was all done in through community. There was different student orgs that came together to help build what this was going to look like and how comunidad, the community looks like. We have our El Pueblo Mentor Scholars Program. We have various student support group spaces like in Confianza and Joteria Sin Fronteras, and then also invite our recognized student organizations to come take up space in our conference room so they can use that space to organize, which goes with our next principle, colaboración or collaboration. We love collaborating with different campus partners, whether that be academic departments, student affairs departments, student orgs, nonprofit organizations, community-led organizations. So we understand that we don't live in a vacuum. A lot of the things that are happening outside of STSU also impact our students and our staff and faculty here as well. So it's important for us to collaborate with different centers, offices, and partners to make sure that we're hitting different intersections that maybe our team doesn't have within our team. So, one of the sayings that we have is like, a student comes to us and we don't know the answer, they will find the answer and we'll connect them to someone that does. Our next principle is conocimientos or knowledge. So again, we're at a higher learning institution, so we want to be sure that we're uplifting the knowledge that exists, giving students new frameworks to look at the world, to expand their worldviews. So we do that in our programming. We've had guest speakers that come speak about their lives, maybe books that they've written. We'll partner with current graduate students as well to showcase like their thesis here as well in the in our conference room. So again, like always understanding that we're not the end all be all of knowledge, and also our students are also great sources of that knowledge. Our next three principles are confianza or trust. So we understand that, like, especially in identity or cultural centers, like, we need to always, give opportunities to establish our trust with students. So making sure that we are transparent with our community acuerdos or our community guidelines to make sure that the space is inclusive of everyone. So we have flyers, we have TV screens, we have, just a lot of representation as you walk throughout the center that helps build that trust and also that one-on-one connection that our student assistants who work our front desk do every single day to build that trust with students, to make them feel that this is a place that they can feel safe, a place that they can find support whenever they're needing it, or just a place that they can also recommend to their friends of like, hey, have you gone to go check out the LRC? Like, they might be a good place for you to maybe get an answer or just get support with any current struggle that they're dealing with. Our next one is conciencia or consciousness. So we want to make sure that honoring the roots of what established our center. So it was through student activism and action. Is that we're still helping facilitate critical thought and discussion with our students. So a lot of the times we get student leaders that want to see change on campus, but they don't know how to do it. So thankfully we have a lot of references and experiences with that in like the formation of our center, so then we're able to pass on that knowledge so that way they can enact change on campus. And I think a lot of the students feel like, well, I'm just one student, or like I don't think, how can we do that? But that's exactly how our center started. It was only a couple students that believed in that, and then they were able to grow their coalition and then really enact the change that led to us being here in the space with you now. our last principle is conexiones or relationship building. So again, like we want to make sure that along with all the other principles is that we are building relationships authentically with other students, with staff, with faculty, and really creating like this ecosystem where people don't just see the LRC as like a physical space, but also see that we're connected to various other spaces on campus, and they feel comfortable and feel that trust to go with anyone that we recommend, or trust us in connecting them with a potential new mentor that they may be seeking. But yeah, these are our six principles that help guide the work that we do and help align ourselves when we are planning different programs.
Mhm. Yeah. And I know it might be a lot to take in, but ultimately the goal here is that we want our students to not only feel like they belong, right? They're coming to a big campus. Some of them are coming from different parts of San Diego. Some of them are coming from out of town because they live in LA or they're out of state, right? So it's hard to find community space. So our goal is always to make sure they found a sense of belonging here, and two, that they actually provide we actually are providing services that help them succeed in and out of the classroom. So a lot of that is what our goals are here. But I am going to turn it over to Dr. Villarreal, who's going to talk a little bit more about some of the academic support that we do. So this is some of the things that we do from the academic emotional support, as we were mentioning it before. So there is different components that we focus on. Dr. Villarreal oversees our academic success, and he can talk more about what we do and from his lens.
Yeah. So, one thing that we do, and we're getting more popular as we go, excuse me, is that we provide academic advising. I do. So kind of like learn about lower division navigating courses such as English, mathematics, uh, any classes, and also how to balance out what does full time look like, or taking the extra class a little bit above being a full time student. And then also things we highlight are resources and services here. So from basic needs, from the writing center, the math tutoring, in our third floor here in the library, I believe, and stuff like that. We also like to highlight our student orgs, our Latino student orgs. So during the first semester, we'll kind of highlight students that are part of our representatives from those programs and talk about the benefits of being in those programs in order to excel within their career interest or major. We also do collaborations with other cultural centers, the BRC, the NRC, and the Resource Center, EOPOS, and a lot of the times we have similarities on programs, so we do collaboration just to make a bigger casting a metaphorically bigger net to help out students that are navigating this first year, second year, transfer students, undeclared majors. So definitely are always aware of this. Of our students' background. And I feel like every year we get innovative. This current year we did some other stuff from we are pretty well known now as doing academic advising in the LRC, where I've kind of established relationships with public with health services, education, engineering, and I invite their advisors to do walk-ins here in our in the conference room, and that's been really effective in helping students navigate, like meet these advisors in person within the place they feel home, which is the LRC. And this kind of contributes to them going to the department and getting to know their advisors more, the department, and any resources on the bulletin board, or other advice moving forward in maybe already doing academic plan for upper division courses and internships, stuff like that. We also like to highlight too, or the career fair, try and promote to walk around, to attend those conferences, to listen to the jargon. I always tell students, listen to the jargon first, go visit, see how they're communicating, how they're preparing for that. And once you feel like you're in a spot of maybe completing lower division requirements, or you're in second year in need of a job, that's where you kind of get a little bit of a exposure to it and feel more comfortable going in the second time to career fairs. And personalized, we also do collaborate with the counseling services here. So I do provide some counseling, but when I feel like it's a little bit more with student needs, I will recommend to go to counseling services. By the time it's free, For you, it's where they offer a place to go sit, relax, talk to someone. Or sometimes students are needing help with money to purchase food. So we're talking about going to fill out the form help fresh with the person I believe on Tuesday and Thursdays where someone's available. So we try to provide all these resources that can really not be a barrier for them in doing academically and health wise and personally well here at San Diego State. Yeah, so like I said, Eric earlier said that sometimes we know that like the responses, the answers, but if we don't, we definitely know someone that's a direct contact that can assist with any like scenarios or questions students have.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you so much. And so I also want to reiterate that CIE, we're starting, continue to partner, and thanks so much for Rachel for helping us get our word out there. I think because we're so new, right? So we are one of the three newest centers on campus. And so sometimes again it's hard to know where we're at and we're not all together in one area. So I really appreciate the CA reaching out and saying like, hey, what is it that y'all do? What is the main focus? And we're always for collaboration. So if y'all are interested in anything that we offer, we're I think we're known for pretty easy to collaborate, depending on timing too, because as I'll say, I'm gonna go through some of our peak times, and we never say no to collaborations, just be more of the timing. But if you all know anybody who is interested in contacting us or even just stopping by, feel free to send them our way. Um, so I don't know if you can hear it, but there is a video. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Uh,
so sorry. It's like so glitchy. I promise it doesn't look like that all the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, no worries. This is the video and probably the other ones because we have a couple of clips in here. We want to really show the liveliness, right? So one of the things that you'll notice if you ever come to the center down here at in the first floor of the library is very vibrant. Like Eric has on his background. Actually, he created the background. Right, Eric? Yeah, yeah. So very artistic. And so it looks a lot of like the colors, right? The vibrancy of Latin America it ties to our the vegetation, to the fruits, to their culture. So you'll see a lot of these murals, and you see some of this in our pictures. Well, our events tend to be lively as well, and we really try to celebrate our life, our heritage, our culture through different events. One of the peak times, as I mentioned, is our Heritage Month, which runs from September 15 to October 15. So some of our key programs is we actually have, and I think it's in this slide. Uh, yeah. So one of the programs we started actually as this in support with the Black Resource Center, and also thanks to Eric for his leadership, along with other student organizations from the Black Resource Center and the Latinx Resource Center. We carried out last year our third carne asada cookout, and it's exactly what it sounds. It is a backyard celebration that brings two cultures together from a intersectional perspective or multicultural lens, where we have some similarities. And one of the things that we always see when we engage in the different cultures and our diverse communities is what we call breaking bread together, right? So one of the things that we do in this event, it's at the beginning of Heritage Month, which happens in the middle of September, is that we have a barbecue with Latin American food from carne asada. In the future, we're looking to do other things like pupusas and things like that. And then we also bring in barbecue food from different vendors from the support Black excellence. And so, lo and behold, this has become a tradition, and it's become so big in the last 3 years that we actually moved out of the Black Resource Center space. Because if you've been there, it's a house, and it's we had over 400 people there at one point, and it was really hard to maintain that many people in one space, which is great. That's a great thing to have. But as we continue planning, we know we need to move out. So last year we actually moved into Montezuma Hall, and we were going to do it at Scripps Cottage, but we moved into Montezuma Hall because of the rain um, uh, expectations that I know. In September, who expects rain, right? But anyways, we moved into inside in Montezuma Hall, and actually we had close to uh, almost 800 students, faculty, and staff come by. So it was a big event, and now we're trying to determine, okay, do we continue doing it at Municipal Hall? It doesn't necessarily have this backyard celebration vibe on it, but it can still make it work. So give you a kind of sense of how we work with other communities and bring in and highlight the celebrations of both cultures. Uh, Also, a video just shows you a bit more. Again, probably pixelated. But and then again, probably not sure if it's showing, but wanted to show you also we finished the semester the Heritage Month, and we do programs all throughout uh, September to October, but we finished the our Heritage Month with this big celebration. So pachanga in Spanish means a gathering, a party celebration with community. So we bring in all as much as many people we can, right? In the student union. So if you've been to the courtyard there, that's where this happens. And we have dances, we have cultural celebrations, we have had instructors come in and help our students learn how to do salsa, bachata. We have had also live bands, and all from a cultural lens, again, to continue to celebrate who we are. And it is really fun. Um, it's really hot at times too because it's September. So if you come in and you participate, by the end of the day, you definitely are sweating and getting a workout because there's a lot happening. And it usually happens from 5 to 9. But it's great to see the whole student union courtyard just transform into this big celebration of our community. And then,
You want me to jump in, Renzo? Sorry. Like, I think
yeah,
it's
go
from
ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
So
no worries.
I'll give it over
I'll give you a break
to
to
another
catch your
one.
breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, another one of our signature events that we do, around this time of the year in May or late April is our Latinx graduation, which, we have now lovingly named La Despedida or the farewell. This again is like an opportunity for graduates to bring in their loved ones. Usually for the regular graduation that you get here, you have a limited amount of how many people you could bring, but we know a lot of our families are, five, six, seven, 8+ people. So, we really want graduates to celebrate that with as many people as we can offer. So graduates come and they're given a free stole. So they don't have to pay for anything. We have had entertainment from like folklorico. We've had different student speakers. We have students giving their speeches in English and Spanish, and giving families the opportunity to be in joy, dance, take pictures, and have a real celebration. I think like if you've seen some of the pictures that we've shared so far, a big core element to the LRC and like our comunidad is just being in joy, being in community, honoring the people who have sacrificed for us to be in these positions here in higher education. So the Latinx graduation is definitely one of those places where we're able to really celebrate getting to the end, and then like also celebrating what's to come next with all of our students. And yeah, another video. Yeah, yeah, like that is the energy of the students. Are also excited, screaming. And then, to rewind a little bit right before our graduation, and well, where we wanted to talk about today is the Queerceañerax. So the Queerceañerax was started. Well, it's the Mes de Queer Alegría, or month of like queer joy, is celebrated in April, where we partner with the Women's Resource Center, the Pride Center, and many other student orgs that want to partner with us, but really centering the intersections of Latinidad, or being Latino, Latina, Latine, and LGBTQIA plus identities. I think a lot in our community sometimes, like including myself, like we feel that sometimes those two things can't go together, or maybe we've had experiences with like our families or upbringing where we weren't able to be as open or as our most authentic selves. So, this month is in support of our community that does find themselves at that intersection. And one of our signature events for this month is the Queerceañerax, which I believe on the next slide, yeah, there's a little bit more. So we invite Baile Folclórico. So Baile Folclórico Xochipilli, who is a student organization here on campus. They come do gender swap versions of the dance. So this one is the machete dance or the sword dance. So all the females in the group learn how to do that dance, and it's also an opportunity for them to, practice like that challenging, like, traditional gender norms where, only certain genders are able to do a dance or another. And I think we have another video, sorry, this is a little bit more of like the history or background. I just want to provide context and credit. So it was started in 2020, our very first year of operating only virtually because of the pandemic. It was started by our former graduate assistant, Sed Flores, who actually works here at the university now. So, we get to invite them back and see like how much the event has grown. But Sed saw this event at UC Davis while they were over there, and they're like, we need to have something like this. I want to make sure that our community has a place where we can reclaim traditional, like, rite of passage in our community. So the quinceañera is usually intended for females only when they're turning 15, and it is very gendered. So, males and females have very specific roles. Like there have been some males that do have like quinceañeras, but it's very uncommon. So like typically like myself, like I wasn't a quinceañera, but I was on the other side. I wasn't like, in a dress or anything. So I never really got to celebrate it in that same way. So the goal for this event was to create a healing space of like radical joy to challenge this traditional milestone and create a new tradition collectively with every year our students rededicated to something different, whether that be a social issue or, call back to our queer and trans elders who have paved the way for us. And again, like this is done not just by ourselves, but by a multitude of people. So some of our consistent partners include One SDSU, the Pride Center, the Women's Resource Center, Mecha, also Baile Folclórico, and the San Diego LGBT Center. So again, we're partnering with everybody we can on campus and then also bringing other resources here to support this event. And here are some photos. Fun fact, did get to finally wear the dress. So that's me in the green dress the first year. I was very lucky that one of my graduate assistants let me borrow her actual quinceañera dress. But we typically have cake, we have backdrops, we have photo booths, we have performances, we have affirmations, we have a DJ, we have people dancing. We invite people to come and dress in the way that they feel most authentic to themselves, whether that be a dress, a suit, a mix of both, but really just, throwing away any like expectation for anyone to be a certain way. Like this is the space where you can be all of the above. So that is, why, we throw the Queerceañerax like as a place of joy, of reclaiming, a tradition and reimagining it to the way that, fits a multitude of different identities and not just some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I may just add something
Mhm.
too, is that especially in the last couple of years, right, since COVID, well, it is also a place of reclamation, and then also place of healing and also a space of inclusion. We know that some folks also didn't have a prom or didn't have a quinceañera because of COVID. So, although always been the focus of from a queer LGBT uh, focal point, but our goal is also to have those who come in and also experience this who perhaps didn't have it because of COVID and other fortunately things that happened that they couldn't perhaps participate in prom or whatnot. Um, and this is something that I think is beautiful. It's already established when I came in. I really think that the students that came before me and if you started to see a pattern that the space was created by students for students. We are career staff, and we're at our uh, roles is really stewards of the space. We're here to provide structure, to provide direction, but really we go off of what the needs and also the wishes of the students are. So a lot of these we've continued because that's something that reflects. If I were to do programs, I'm a little bit more separated from my students now. I think it would look very different. Okay. So that's why we always go back to the student voice, because what I think is cool, I don't know if people say cool anymore, but it's very different than what our students say. So that's why we always go with what we feel that they need. Now there are some our professional expertise comes in terms of what we see from like academic point. Dr. Villarreal comes in from a programmatic point. And for me, you'll see a little bit later that I really focus on the overall success and how do we track that to ensure that we are demonstrating that our students are having success in and out of the classroom, that they're not just going to go to a one-time event and yes, they feel great, but how do we then continue to support them throughout their college career here at SDSU? So I just wanted to add that point. Anyways, it's my turn. So, so transition, and this is the last slide. And then if you have questions, we're gonna have a Q&A after this. And as I mentioned, we do so much, right? And we didn't capture everything because we knew we only had limited time, and I really want to open up to Q&A. But this is one of my passions is to capture the work we're doing through data. Because one of the things that when I came in, it was looking at anecdotally, I knew that our students were coming out of our events and programs like, yeah, I feel really good. But then I would say, okay, how does that then translating to the classroom? How is that translating to jobs and careers? So there's a lot of data in here, but one of the things that I want us to focus on, and maybe maybe it's a little bit hard to see, but we focus on three elements that I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation. We focus on our students, making sure that they feel like they belong, because research indicates that if they feel like they belong in their school, in their spaces, they're more likely to do well overall in their education and in the classroom as well. The second thing that we really focus on is their self-confidence. And the self-confidence in academics, saying that, hey, I am confident that I can do this. I am confident that I'm able to pass my class, and I'm confident that I'm in the major that I need to move on. And the last thing that we do is that we look at a success here is their internal motivation to pursue their educational interest. So yes, they're confident, but then how motivated are they to pursue their goals outside of SDSU or maybe within, because we call it education. So for us, we're noticing that all the programs that we have, we create this sense of foundation for them to feel good, to feel like they're heard. And then we provide this academic support that Dr. Villarreal provides. And then through our community-based connections, we're starting to see that our students then become more motivated to pursue their goals. So, Dr. Villarreal, if you want to speak a little bit about how you're connecting our students to their careers through the different panels that you're putting on with different peers and also professionals.
Yeah. So, one thing that our programs, our initiatives are driven by data, and this is through evaluations, through mid surveys, and then just like pre-survey. So, we check in with students like what their expectations are, what do they know, what do they want out of the academic year. And this is just a continuous of building professional relationship with students. Most of these times that the relationships happen leads to like possibility of helping them with employment here on campus, whether it's working at the LRC, EOP, or any other places where they're helping with employment. Another thing we help them understand the importance of like writing, the continuance of writing, right? It's a ever a skill they continue to enhance. And that's through, having and a lot of this has kind of been addressed through student panels. So this semester we did five student panels with the mostly popular the five popular majors for San Diego State. So business, engineering, health services, ¿qué más? And another one to Latinas in leadership. So that one came out just because there's just quite a bit of Latinas that wanted to like learn from other Latinas in upper division courses or in graduate programs or careers about navigating courses. So like I said, a lot of this happens just through conversation with students, something that they're a theme that happens within data we collect, faculty that share their experience with us, staff that they would like to see. And that's been really helpful in regards to students being not only more academic prepared or aware, but now they're interested in, we see a lot of students are looking into graduate programs here at San Diego State or out of San Diego State too. So definitely we're providing that pathway in, dismissing the curiosity in more setting stepping stones and how to move forward life after college as well. And that's done through alumni that come and be part of student panels, graduate students that are in masters and PhDs as well. And I think we've seen that very effective, and that's something we continue to do. Now we did it this semester, and now we want to continue doing it for the following year. And at the same time, we also use the opportunity to highlight our Latinx students here on campus that are doing really great jobs within the student orgs, within Launchpad, within their own department. And, something to, like I said, like, can we kind of like highlight you for as you get ready to graduate or kind of exit out of San Diego State and, help you with your social media in regards of employment too as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. We're helping you and you're helping us at the same time we're helping you too as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and just to end here, I put a lot of information, and this is something that we're happy to share with you, Rachel, if you want to share it to others. But this is a total of visits that we had last year, and it just shows what our space is focusing on, right? So a lot of students are coming in here are using it for study and socializing. They're using our resources, our space amenities. We have hygiene kits, snacks available, and academic support. Um, One of the things that I do want to say is that across everything that we do, for whether it be from programs that Eric helps lead, whether it be academics, which Dr. Villarreal oversees, or it would be the aspects that we have, because we have a student staff development program as well that our staff, Isabel, also runs. Across everything that we do, we have seen now that out of 5 points, right? We've done this and from a research perspective, we have combined it all together and we looked at the data and it shows that across everything that we do, we have high numbers of students showing that they are coming in, and everything we do has hit high numbers in terms of sense of belonging, their self-confidence, and their internal motivation. So this is where we're starting to see it's not just a one-time off, saying like, hey, I'm coming into one program, and then all of a sudden they're they're not necessarily doing well in their academics. We track them. So across everything that we do, we know that these are high points of impact that's showing that, hey, we are doing something great and we want to continue that. So I know there's a lot of information in there, but I really appreciate you sticking with us to the end. And again, I think this is who we are. Anybody's welcome to come in. We're open 10 to 5 Monday to Thursday and 10 to 2 on Fridays. Or if you want to connect with us via email or social media, that's our handle. But yeah, thank you. And I guess at this point, we take any questions or anything else that you would like us to share.